Welcome to Beermates.
For the beer snobs and the beer noobs among us,
We're here to celebrate beer and the good times that come with it.
through tastings, visiting breweries, and the general love for the craft.
Join us as we explore this ever-expanding world of craft beer.
And maybe you'll even learn something along the way.
I'm Matt,
And I'm Mike.
and we're Beermates. So Mike, first off, let's talk about this bar.
So, this is my little homemade bar. It's made out of pallets. My buddy Matt made it for me, not you.
Not me. Wish I could make this.
Yeah.
Wish I had one.
So this is my garage bar, my man cave going on here. So what we have for you today is we're going to sample some Octoberfests.
Okay.
Tis the season.
Tis the season.
Here we are in early October. So Octoberfest is the style of the season. Just so you know, none of these are official Oktoberfests.
Okay, yeah.
Oktoberfest is actually a name that is designated specifically to a location in Germany, around Munich, Germany.
Okay.
And that's where Oktoberfest, the official festival, is actually held every year.
Okay.
And in order to be an official Oktoberfest, you have to brew your beer in that location. So only a select few breweries even have permission to brew an official Oktoberfest.
Okay.
So now...
So what's everything else?
well, they're all the same beer. Everybody does the same style. So it's essentially the same idea. But it's not officially called Oktoberfest because they're not in that location. So
gotcha.
you can see it as a couple different names. Some people call it Oktoberfest anyway, even though it's not real. Some people call it a fest beer.
Okay.
And some people call it a Marzen. Marzen is really like more of the technical name for the style of beer.
And Marzen that's the technical name. Okay,
Yeah, like a stout or a porter or a ale or whatever. So
gotcha.
a Marzen is just another
Marzen.
one of those. It's a type
So we're
of ale.
tasting Marzens.
We are tasting Marzens that all have different kinds of names.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to taste them and we're going to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. We're not going to put them up against each other. We're not going to say this one's the best. We maybe could talk about that at the end. But more so, it's just going to be like, let's give it a 1 to 10 rating.
Okay. Okay.
I would call this a 10. That's a really good beer. I would drink this every day.
Okay.
This is a 1. I can't even stomach finishing this sip.
Okay. And a 10 again would be a one that you would drink multiple of, could drink it every day if you wanted to. All right.
Or because since this is seasonal beer, it's not going to be one you can get every day. It could just be.
But throughout October, if you wanted to have this beer in your fridge every day of the week,
this would be a go-to.
That's
for
a 10. Okay.
Yes. So we're going to start with actually a local brewery.
Okay.
And this is Rentsch Brewery, which is actually right down the road from my house here.
Okay. Rentsch, there it is.
And so that's a German name. That's actually the last name of the people who started the brewery.
Okay.
And they actually had, I think the father and the son started the brewery, and they spent some time in Germany and learned to brew beer in Germany from Germans and brought that back with them.
Man.
So their brewery it's kind of a good one to go to for an Oktoberfest. They're German people that serve it up. Now this is an interesting one. This is the only one that's going to kind of stand out because it is a flavored Oktoberfest, which you do not find very often. And it's German flavored because it's apple strudel.
Apple strudel.
Strudel.
And you can see it there. So, and that's the other thing that's interesting about this area, the whole New Braunfels thing with the German influence there. And it's too bad we're not, the festival stuff's all off right now. But yeah, we got to do that one of these years. It's a really, really fun time. Okay, so apple strudel.
Yep. So we're going to...
Method again, reminder, we're doing 3 sips.
At 3 sips before we give our impression. I'm going to let you talk first. That's the noob to most of this stuff.
I like beer, but I don't know the science of it all.
Well, and I don't know how much science I'll be able to offer with this in particular, but I'll do what I can to kind of add to whatever it is that you say. We'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll give it a rating.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, so starting with the apple strudel.
Apple strudel.
It's definitely sweeter than a typical.
For sure. Okay, third sip. I'm definitely catching a little bit of the apple part of it. I can taste that. It's got a little aftertaste to it that maybe is not right up my alley with like having too many of them. So this might be the kind that I would have one of these. It's not like I can't stomach it. I like it. There's not many beers I can't stomach, but but I would probably have one of these and then switch to something else.
Okay.
So that's me.
All right. So I'm not a huge flavored beer fan. Myself.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting because when I did brew beer, the one beer that I won a gold medal for was for a flavored apple beer.
Apple beer. Okay.
Typically, I'm not real huge on flavored beers just because they tend to taste artificial. Okay. Here's what I can tell you, having done my own.
Yeah.
They definitely use real apples in this.
Okay. How do you know?
Because it's a mild apple flavor. It almost has that taste like a crispiness, almost like you bit into the apple.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would taste almost like candy. If they use the apple extract, it would be like super sweet and almost candy-like. This doesn't taste that artificial at all.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, we've talked about it before with like grapefruit beers and stuff about how that subtle hint says that they use something real, not artificial, right? Because it's not punching you. Really.
Right. Here's the deal, though. I don't know that I would call this an Octoberfest.
Okay.
I know they do. And I think that's more just because it's the season and it's their seasonal beer.
Okay.
But this is more just an apple beer. It's
It's
kind of like an apple red.
Yeah, and so I'm interested because every year with Oktoberfest, I don't do a ton of them, but every year I make a point to have one here or there. So as we go, I'll be interested to remember what that flavor is. And I definitely couldn't place that. It was just a totally new thing to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So if you were going to give this a 1 to 10, 1 being total crap, 10 being...
I'm going to say a 5. And 5 to me says I could drink it. I might even order it once in a while, but I'm probably only having one of them. Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
about you?
I would probably give you about the same.
Yeah.
Mainly just, again, that's my personal impression of flavored beers in general. I'm not big on apple, but a 5 is about... I mean... This is a good apple beer.
Yeah. If you like apple beer.
Yeah. If you're into that kind of thing, this is really good. I wouldn't call it an Oktoberfest, so it kind of loses some points for me on that. So I'm right with you. I'm about out of 5.
Okay, great. So the next one then?
All right, so let's move down the line. So now we're again at a local brewery. So this one is closer to my house. This one's more local to Austin.
Okay.
Austin, Texas. Yep. So this
Adelberts.
is, and I hope I pronounce it right, Adelberts Brewery.
That's how I would say it too.
Okay. Nobody's ever corrected me.
Hope we're not wrong.
Right. And so these guys did it right. They're not even trying to disguise this as an Oktoberfest. They just straight up called it a Marzen.
Okay.
All right. And so, I'll just kind of flip it around so you guys can see that's their brewery label. And they have the name there that they call it a Marzen. And on the front here, it doesn't say Oktoberfest. It says October Rust is the name of it. And then below that, it says Marzen Ale.
Okay.
So this should be more along the lines of what an Oktoberfest would taste like, I would think. I haven't tasted this yet, so we'll see.
3 sips.
Got to wash the sweetness of that last one off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely.
I recognize that.
Oktoberfest.
That takes me to every October for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely like it better than the apple one, just because I'm not much of a flavored beer person either.
And you could probably taste now why I wouldn't call this an Oktoberfest.
Yes,
it doesn't have the notes that this.
Yeah,
has.
And the thing that I'm missing really right now, which actually we're making up for by doing the show behind this cool bar, is the idea of being at a pub and being able to order an Oktoberfest, right?
During the season.
During the season. And that sip made me feel slide right into that place. So I liked it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I agree. I think it's a good Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's anything spectacular.
No.
There's no like spiciness to it. There's nothing like... what I really liked about it is, did you notice how almost smooth and creamy it was on your tongue?
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask, why is it because it's a malt? Is that what you were telling me earlier?
Oktoberfests are naturally malty beers, so you're not going to get the bitterness and the punch from a hop. So you're almost not going to taste the hops at all. It's very heavy on that malt. So yeah, I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Not every Oktoberfest has that.
I definitely noticed that, and it was part of what I liked actually.
It's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
So what would you give that?
Okay, so if I'm again being in the season, I probably would go. I don't know if we're doing decimals, but if we're going to do 6.5, I'll go ahead and round up to 7. And it's one that I could probably order a few of if I'm at the pub and be fine having it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm good with doing decimals. 6.5 sounds good to me.
Okay.
I would actually go even a little higher on that.
Okay.
That's one, I would probably put it more at a 7 to 7.5.
Okay.
Because that's one that, like, if I'm going to a brewery to get an Oktoberfest, which typically that's what I would do.
That's what you're expecting.
This is what I would want, and that I would drink. If that's what I was drinking for the night, I would drink the hell out of that.
So that was the other thought that I had was like, I probably wouldn't just switch right away. I would just kind of, you could give me one of the big, you could,
yes. Yeah, that's a Oktoberfest beer mug.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the next one we're going to do is probably the most common Oktoberfest that people can find on the market, which is Samuel Adams Oktoberfest, which they do every year. So here's what I like. This is the Oktoberfest that if I'm going to buy it in the store, it's usually the one I go to. So this one's unique for us because instead of just giving us the typical Sam Adams Oktoberfest, I have aged this one for a year.
Okay.
This is last year's Oktoberfest.
Man.
So let's talk about aging beers. First off, you never age a beer in a can.
Okay.
Because it just doesn't survive the way it should.
All right.
And you can't age every beer because some beers are made to be drank fresh.
Okay.
The nice thing about beers that are getting more malty and darker, like some stouts and some heavier beers, like winter ales and things like that, and Oktoberfest is another good one. You can set it in your fridge and just leave it sit, and next year take it out.
I didn't know that.
And it changes the flavor slightly over that year because the yeast is still sitting in there, the malt's still sitting in there, and so the flavor does usually amplify over that year. So
we're going to see if you help this thing along then.
Well, we won't know because we don't have one to compare with.
That's right, yeah.
But this is just kind of unique in the sense that I didn't just give us the most typical Oktoberfest. We went with a year-aged version.
Year-aged. I love the color of it, I'll tell you that.
It is darker.
I'm drawn to that.
It's much darker than the others, and I don't know if that had to do with the aging process or if it was just that particular year.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And that is significantly different than what we just had.
That is significantly different, and that is the kind of beer that I could drink any month out of the year. I could drink that just about any day. I'm going 9.5.
9.5 on that.
Yeah.
Well, you can probably see why this is probably one of the ones I buy the most often in the store.
And I'm only not going 10 because there's probably something else out there I would like better, but
there could be.
I could roll with that. That's right up my alley.
And I wonder, there was definitely a punch up in flavor compared to this one. And I wonder if that has to do with the aging process or if that has to do.
Do you remember? Yeah,
I don't. It's been a year.
It's a year ago.
It's been a year. I mean, I don't remember it. I remember being underwhelmed this particular year.
Okay.
Which is why I ended up aging.
Maybe you did help it, yeah.
So what I did is I bought a 12-pack because I do every year when it comes out. And I drank through most of the 12-pack and I thought, I'm just not super impressed this year. And so I said, I'm going to age some, see what happens next year. Good. So I'm more impressed now than I remember being last year.
Yeah, I really do like that one. That one, of all the ones, to finish one out of the flight, that's going to get finished.
So you give it a 9.5. I would probably put that at about an 8. I think that's
okay. 8 for you. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. Yeah.
All right. So the last one that we have, and again, forgive my is it
Karbach? Karbach is how I always heard it, but yeah.
So this is a Texas brewery. Where is this at?
That's I believe in Houston.
In Houston. Okay.
Yeah.
They're pretty popular around here in Texas.
Yeah, they got good IPAs too.
And again, they did it right by calling it a Marzen versus an Oktoberfest.
Okay, some points there.
Yeah. Also, this is a Bavarian style Marzen, which I don't 100% know what that's going to do for it. But here, I can even tell you what the can says. It says, it's an authentic Bavarian style Marzen with Vienna and Munich malts. So they actually have malts from the area. That's nice. Cold fermented, aged for 6 weeks. So this is actually, I looked up online what were the highest rated Oktoberfest of the year.
Yeah.
This was, it's not number one, but it's in the top 10. It's on the list.
Okay, so they've
and it's the one of the list that I could get.
So, okay,
so this is
big shoes to fill here.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 3. Also really like it.
Again, not as flavorful as this one was.
Nope.
Again, that may be due to
these were similar, right? And you said something about this one earlier that made good sense. You don't really, I guess that's really the thing with, you don't really taste the hops in any of these beers. That's not what they're made for. But this one, if I had to like compare these two, they was if you just swapped these out for me at the bar, assuming I hadn't already had about 4, I probably would be like, I don't know if I know the difference that much,
Right.
But I like it. It's one that I could drink. Again, have it especially if I'm looking for an Oktoberfest. I could drink several, but get a big one exactly like they described on the can.
I will tell you, having been to Germany, you've been to Germany.
Yeah, I've been to Germany. I didn't go near this time. And I definitely drink beer, but I drink mostly their lagers.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I went for more of their darker beers when I was out there. This reminds me a lot of the kind of beer I would have out there.
Okay.
You would just go to their pub. They don't even have a name on the label. It's not like it's like we just made this at the house, And this it reminds me a lot of that.
Let's have a beer.
Yeah, you go to a restaurant and it's like, I want a beer, and they have one beer.
Yeah,
that's what they bring you.
I remember that.
Yep. And so this reminds me of that a lot. Mm-hmm. So I think the malts being from that area. And I think it's also interesting, a lot of times on the beers, you'll see that they describe what the hop content is.
Yeah.
Notice this didn't say a thing about the hops.
No.
It's all about what the malts were and where they were from.
Where they're from,
Which made a big difference.
Yeah. I'm going to go 8.5 on this guy. Okay. I liked it. Like I said, I couldn't tell a huge difference between these two, but just in what I'm looking at now, at least in the moment, I think I liked it a little bit better.
All right, so I would give this about a 7. I think. Kind of similar to this one.
Okay.
I'm thinking the aged
is for sure.
I always hate to do it just because Sam Adams is such a big name now, but I think the aging made a difference.
Yeah, I think you must be right. I'm gonna definitely finish mine on that. So it was a good one.
The good news is if any of y'all want to go try an Oktoberfest, you may not be able to get all of these, but you could definitely get this one and pop a couple in the back of your fridge and hang on to it. Be better next year. Yeah,
man, that is something I'm going to make a point to do because I've never once thought about aging it once I've already bought it in a bottle that somebody else, prepared. Mm-hmm. But that's a great idea.
Yeah,
great idea. All right.
Cheers.
So, I'll finish this one. If you liked that,
be sure to like and subscribe.
And if you really, really liked it, hit the bell.
And always remember to drink responsibly.
Cheers.